Hey, there we go. Good morning. Right, I've got my mic up. All right, there. Yes, we do. Good morning. It is May 2018. My name is Jeff Fritz. Hey, Hacking TV. Thank you so much for hosting. Welcome back to my stream. Welcome all of you over there on Hacking TV, the five folks over there. I like to call this Fritz and Friends, and I've got some code that we want to write today. We're going to collaborate on together. And of course, this is May, and May is for Mac, so we're going to be using a Mac to write C# and .NET code. Yes, we've gone with the Cortana hat today. Thank you for pointing that out, Cryptrix, because I'm going to be doing a little AI work. I'm going to be doing some work tuning our chat bot that's sitting there in the chat room. Going to add some features to it based on some of the things that made sense that we were discussing from our last stream. Let me move a couple things around here on the desktop before we get moving. Yeah, good. All right. So let's see. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Hat. Let's play some music here in the background. Let's get that fired up. I played Orchid from Music to Code By last time. This time, let's play. I'm a sucker for Blue. So this is Blue from Music to Code By. This is music that's engineered to help us get in the groove, right? Get focused. And it's really groovy. It's really chill, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. Good afternoon, Jay Rosegard. Duel has a question there. .NET Core experts, I have a bug I'm struggling with for a long time. I have trouble updating the professors in the course with the put request. The name and semester gets updated, but the professors do not. Why is that? And there's a link into Pastebin. You know what? Let's take a quick look at your Pastebin there. All right, I'm going to roll over to my Stream Deck. Is taking a real long time to respond. There it goes. All right, let's take a look. We're going to go over. Here we are back in my Mac, which makes getting that Pastebin link a little weird. And for some reason, music is stuttering for us. Come on. See if we can free up a little memory here. Keep things going. All right. So we're going to pastebin.com RQ for you ANLB. Let's take a quick look at what Duel has here for us. Hey, Justin, good to see you. Good morning, Extensive. Good to see you there. Thanks to all of our new followers, a couple of new followers there. I want to make sure I call out Troopzor, Elaface, Lita Gemini. Those are all folks from my local Philadelphia community. I joined up with some of the folks over there. They have a Philadelphia community here on Twitch. And I wanted to connect with them because I want to learn a little bit more from those folks how to be a better Twitch streamer. Gotta have my morning coffee. Good morning, Wintermute. We're going to get into your code here in just a little bit. I want to take a look at Duel's question here. So this looks like... Go away. Ads. Pastebin ads. Ads. So I have trouble updating the professors in the course. With the put request, the name and the professor gets updated, but the professors do not. All right. So let's come down here. You must have a... So, all right, this is your put method. All right, so you are receiving a course view model and an ID. Okay. You're creating a new course. Okay. So a put. Good morning, Jobun. Right, so put and post, I always confuse the two. One is an add and one is an edit. And and I'm blanking right now which one's which. But this one looks like the edit. You're creating a new course. Okay, so you're putting the name, you're grabbing the name and the semester out of it, and you're creating a new list of professors in there. Okay, yeah, put does the update. Yeah, okay. Thanks for the reminder. There's places where I can go and remind myself of that, but I always confuse the two. All right, so for each professor in model professor's ID. Okay. So you're going into user manager and you're finding that professor, course professors, add new professor, course, and then that professor that you found. You're marking it as modified. You're saying save changes, catch a concurrency, update exception. If the course does not exist, mark as not found. Well, you're creating a new course with the ID here. You should consider getting an eye tracker. Just watched a programming stream with someone using it. Great to see what the streamer is focusing on. An eye tracker? An eye tracker. Eye trackers for PC games in desktop. It doesn't matter if I do new object or grab the existing course. You don't want to see what I'm tracking. What I'm looking at, because I've literally got 5 screens here, and I'm doing all of this, and over here. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Interesting. That's a lot of money for a little gimmick. In default generated controller, it's done that way. Hey there, Async Coder and Retro Bear. All right. Works really well. Okay. So let's see if we can solve Duel's question here. Okay. So, right, you're very much using the same pattern from there. Hey, Tagaron. Good to see you. Let's see here. So, your question is... the semester gets updated, but the professors do not. The semester gets updated. Okay. So you are grabbing, you're saying new course, ID, name, semester, professors. So you're telling me that this property Duel does not get updated? Absolutely, Wintermute. That's what we're going to be going to next. I want to see if we can answer Duel's question here real quick. The professors do not get updated. Okay, this gets updated. The list of professors does not. Okay, so this is going to be updating a... This is going to be updating a foreign key reference. When debugging, they are updated in the context, but I'm guessing they're not being pushed back. What the... No, what is this? Stupid advertising. Alright. So let's take a quick look. It's a new list of professor courses. So you're clearly creating this many-to-many relationship with Entity Framework. And what's... That sure looks like it should do it. Risky on stream. Firefox with no ad blocker. I don't typically go to ad sites while I'm on stream, so I'm okay for right now. No, this should be. I see exactly what you're doing here. What I'm thinking. What I'm thinking is you don't have any tracking. Hey there, aspiring DevOps guru. You don't have any tracking for this object. So it doesn't know what to update. And it's not clear. Right? It won't know what to update. It isn't tracking. It isn't going to see what's been added there. So, right, are these new professor course objects being created in your database? Right, and let me look up here. What's a professor course? It has one professor with many courses. So you're literally using this as a many-to-many table. Yeah. A professor ID with a... Okay. Yeah, this is a many-to-many table sitting in the middle that you're using to join these two things together. I would do some digging into, is it actually creating these things? If it's not at, this way I can only add more professors. And you're on another paste bin. ZGR4 IHZN. New professor course. Yeah. Okay. But you also want to remove the other ones, right? I mean, what I'm seeing here is you're pushing a course view model here, and the course view model is really just, where'd it go? I'm looking for course view model. What do we got here? That's your DB context, that's your course, that's your professor course, and that's your user. You want to remove the other ones. Then do a delete. Do the delete. If you have the edit working, you have the add working, because that's all that you're going, right? That's what you're trying to affect, is you're trying to say add these relationships and remove the others. So do that add and then do the delete. Right? And then, I mean, it's brute force, but it'll work. That's the way I would solve it, is I would do a remove after this that's I would do a remove before this, though. That way it says it is tracking others with the same ID. No, you're not, because you've got different courses and different professors. So before you do the add range here, do the delete, do the save, then do the add, then do the save. That way you're removing, and then you go and do the add. And that should do it for you. Eye tracking. Seriously, you don't want to know what I'm looking at. You don't want to see where my eyes are, because they're going to be all off screen and all over the place, and it's going to be crazy. So, I want to come back to what we were working on the other day. Shifting topics now. Good luck there, Duel. I think that will solve it. Doing that as 2 steps. Do the delete and then do the add. You're not going to be able to do an update, because you're updating a middle table there. I want to come back to some of this work that our friend Wintermute was working on to implement an RSS feed with Sinclairinator here, adding RSS capabilities to the latest changes in our core wiki project. Hey, good morning, Sinclairinator. So, I put together a little bit of sample code here, and there's just a slight conflict in some of these files that we were working on previously here. And I would like to take a look at the work that Wintermute and Sinclairinator put together here, and let's see if we can merge these in and make something cool happen. Hey there, Mazel95. What do I think of Vala? Are you referring to Heroes of the Storm? Is that the Vala you're referring to? Let me know. Alright, so I believe I have a Visual Studio Code open, and I believe I'm in the same place. Programming language, not familiar with it. Let's start there. Not familiar with the Vala programming language. Object-oriented system with a self-hosting compiler generates C code and uses the G-object system. Syntactically similar to C#, includes notable features such as blah 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 blah. No, not familiar with this. First appeared in 2006. Who uses this? Who supports this? A couple developers. It's LGPL. Sure looks very C#. Yeah, oh, and it generates C code directly. Interesting. I have to come back and take a look at this a little bit further later. That looks very interesting. By the way, Sinclairinator C# first gave me some advice about my code that I haven't implemented yet, so I apologize. No worries. Let's take a look-see. Let's get started here. So I need to merge these on the command line because of some of these changes here. And we all love watching Jeff merge changes. Alright, let's... that's absolutely not what I just copied. Copy. Paste. That's better. There we go. So we've got a merge conflict in a couple of files. Yeah, go away. So let's see what's broken here. Let's see what we got to go fix. So I'm looking for, there's some convenient little C markers here that'll show me where the conflicts are. And here's our first one. Bundler minifier. So these are more recent versions down here, at least on Bundler minifier. You know what? I'm going to pick and choose my way through this because it looks like we've got some newer versions for some things down here, except for the ASP.NET Core app. Let's see what's over here. Yeah. You know what? I'm going to take the incoming change and change over the ASP.NET ones to 2.1. That's not right. Alright, so that fixes that. Let's go over it. Well, there's a conflict in WikiDB. I'm just going to delete it and let it rebuild. Let's see what else we got. I think those are the only... Oh, Startup CS. Yes, there it is. Show me the conflict. Show me the conflict. Alright. Entity Framework SQLite. I changed it to add DB context pool. I think we're going to keep mine. We'll do that one. And then down here, oh look, we're gonna recommend that everything needs to be replaced. Let's see here. So add routing, add MVC, add Razor pages, options, conventions, add page route. Good. That doesn't make sense. There's why won't it look? Let me look at these side by side. Sinclairinator is awesome, by the way. Just want to make that clear. I completely agree. Amen to that. Really neat stuff here. And I had the pleasure of meeting Sinclairinator when we were at Build together a couple weeks ago, and that was really cool. I think I want the lower one because the top one is bringing in configure again, which looks weird. So there's configure, and I want it to drop use browser link. Alright, so here's our new RSS feed. You're going to get me triggered here with the formatting. There we go, that's better. Copyright 2018. You know what? I'm just going to change that to datetime utcnow.year. That way I don't need to change it next year. WinMerge making it such a breeze with merging conflicts. Amen, Retro Bear. I agree. So I was watching a little Twitch last night, as one does, and my friend Lita Gemini was she was playing a game. It was I forget the name of the game, but it was an anime game. She's playing anime games all through the month of May, and the story of this was very it was like the movie Saw, right? You had 8 guests in a house, and they all have to kill each other, or else they'll all be killed by the bad guy. And the bad guy was a psychotic teddy bear, and we kept referring to it as the murder bear. So seeing Retro Bear there, no offense, Retro Bear, I see your name and it reminds me of this psychotic murdering teddy bear from the anime game last night with Lita Gemini. Alright. Julie, is that Julia X55 or is it Juliax? Let me know. For some reason, the background music reminds me of Age of Mythology. This is, like I said, this is from Carl Franklin's Music to Code By, and this is called Blue. Great set of music. You can... There it goes. You can ask, it's Julia X, or Juliax. All right, Juliax. We'll go with that. This is designed to get you focused. I love it. I really do. And if you ask the chatbot about it, it'll give you a link. You can go get that stuff. One thing that will immediately make it blow up. Sinclairinator sees a problem with our code. The add RSS feed needs to be added before add MVC. I have to update your documentation. Okay. For some reason, I couldn't figure out a way to make HTTP context accessor work properly in the middleware config, so that will be null when it returns. Sol RevDev, hey, good morning, or good afternoon in your case. How could contributors prevent or reduce instances of merge conflicts like this before making the pull request? It's just an issue with order of events. You know, we made changes to the same files. It's just going to happen. So the comment there was we need to make sure that use MVC, if I understand Sinclairinator correctly, use MVC needs to be down the bottom. So let's move that to here and put a carriage return in there. Now, why am I getting a red squiggle here? Probably because I have not done a .NET restore yet. Let's make sure we do that. So we get a copy of the RSS. Unable to find package. Snickler RSS core. Unable to find package. Build bundler minifier. Fair? No packages exist with this ID and sources. Fair? What happened there? What happened there? ASP.NET 21 RTM. The longer you wait, the more likely you will have to rebase. Amen, Smab. Well put. I did a clear in NuGet. Yeah, I did. Oh, which means that none of the other packages are available. Let's get rid of that, because I do need the global NuGet package source. So let's try .NET restore again. There we go. That looks better. So now if we go back to startup. Come on, OmniSharp. And cannot implicitly convert int to string. What? Startup, line 90. Oh, you stink. Do that again. You're lagging again. Oh no. I hate hearing that you folks are lagging. And huzzah! All right, let's see if our new RSS capabilities are working here, and then we'll go check out the code. So this will be listening on /feed. Uh-oh. What do we got here? Let's see what's going on. Always fun debugging. The URL property will blow up with the HTTP context. The URL property. This. Host. Why are you using Bing as my search engine? Why not? I bounce back and forth between Bing and DuckDuckGo and Google. I just take my time. Hey, Wampa. What are you laughing at? Alright, so we want to get the current host name and put it in here. And, oh, here's a good question from Nimi. Have you tried VS for Mac? Does it work with ASP.NET Core? I have, and in fact, I swapped emails with Michaela, the program manager for Visual Studio for Mac, and I think we're going to have her on Tuesday to talk about Visual Studio for Mac and work on some of our projects using Visual Studio for Mac together. It doesn't have live share yet, but we may be doing that here. HTTP context accessor is null at this time. Yes. I don't know if we need to pull the URL from config or not. So, to finish with Nimi, so Michaela, I'm going to confirm and make sure that she can join us on Tuesday morning. I think that'll be a lot of fun, looking at Visual Studio for Mac and walking through and spending some time with the program manager that's responsible for it here on stream. Hey, Cy Relash, good to see you. Cortana loves ASP.NET Core. I agree. So I definitely think that when we can pair program with some of the folks that are responsible for the tools that we're using, the frameworks we're using, and get some of their insight, is a tremendous benefit for all of us, you know. And I hope that you folks in the chat room enjoy when I'm able to bring in some of those guests and we're able to get their deep insight. You might be able to get the hosting URL from iHosting environment. That's what I was actually thinking, Joe Bunn. So, Sinclair Nader, let's take a look at that. I think that's going to be something we can kind of use by spelunking down into env here, right? We're getting iHosting environment injected here. Yeah, darn right, we should fix that here also. Let's get that all lined up. Ooh. Tabbing, gotta make our tabs correct. All right, so the URI here, let's see if we can do this. env dot, right now env is our iHosting environment. This is the hosting environment that the Kestrel web server is defining for us, with all the information about what's going on around the web server here inside of our code. So we can reach in and we can say, is it, you know, whatever type of environment. We can also grab the application name, the root file path folder, the root path, the environment name. You know what? I don't see the host name here. And you're right. I thought there was a way. Oh, there. Web root path. Gets or sets the absolute path to the directory that contains the web servable. Nah, web root file provider. Nah, I don't think that's what I want either. Where's my phone? My watch is buzzing here. I've got people sending me Facebook messages saying, "Can I get customer service help?" There's different customer service for that. Code for Veronica. I'm getting more comfortable working in Visual Studio for Mac than in Windows. Hey, that's terrific. It's so MonoDevelop is the open source project, and it's been enhanced and extended, and it has some of the Visual Studio code running in it now to make it a little bit better, capable of formatting things like Razor and some other tools that are built into it. So it's a more complete IDE. But like I said, we'll talk to Michaela, and I have to confirm her for Tuesday. You know, make sure that that's nailed down, and we can definitely talk more about Visual Studio for Mac then with her. So it looks like env doesn't have my host name here, but there is. I could have sworn there was a way to get that. So when in doubt, go back to the docs, and there is a way to automatically get it. I'm going to go down into .NET over here. .NET Core. And I want to get host name. There's a host name property hanging off of something. And I can't remember. No. Come on. ASP.NET Core host name. There's a way to get it. Is it here? Yeah. I'm looking for host name. How the host was configured. iHosting environment. HTTP context factory. You're right, we don't have this. Do I run this in a VM on your Surface? No, this is running on a Mac right here. There's my Mac. So there you go. Request host value. Well, I don't have a request at this point, so I can't specify that. See that? Mazel? I am walking the walk with a real Mac. All right. No mirrors and parallels and VMs. Blah. Your host can have multiple entry points. True. That feeling when Google is better to find what you're looking for than the built-in search in the docs. Ain't it the truth? I'm trying some F# to check out some URL work and some in C#. Okay. VSTS hosted in Mac option is good. Will you be able to get the host name without a request unless it's specified in web config? Well, here, let me show you something. Here's what I'm looking at. If I go to, let me go back to this. When, let me see if I can find a previous run of this. Yeah, here we go. When Kestrel starts up, it knows the URL that it's listening on. See it right there? So what I want to do is I want Kestrel to tell me here's where it's listening, right? Because we specify the URLs that we tell Kestrel to listen on. So I should be able to grab that. I think. Now the question then would be, what happens if it's a star? Right, because you can listen on star. Ah, rats. Okay, so I've got to ask Sinclair Nader, is the URL exactly, Smap? Is the URL required here? Right? In your RSS feed options. Let's go back. Because if I can reference that later, then I might be in a better place. I have a project that gets data from a URL without original API. Exactly, Joe Bunn. What's it used for? Without original API, as I could search if the wiki what I use as a source have API. I'm confused, Janescu. I don't follow what you're saying there. Will I also have a Linux month? I don't see why not. Ubuntu-vember? Ubuntember. Ubuntober. Ah, See how that works? Ubuntober. It's the link property on the root node from the RSS. Gentober. There you go, Sean. Gentober. Ha-ha! There's no month that starts with L. I'm sorry, President Not Sure. I'm sorry. I'm trying. Come on, music. I think, you know what, let's do this. I'm going to close my browser. My browser over here is just chewing memory. There we go. That might be a little bit better. I'm sorry about Gentober. My sound effects are taking a while to start up, too. All right. It's a required element on the channel node. So can't link be a relative path? Could it be a relative path? Let's take a look at that. Can we just say new URI /feed? Can we do that? Can't have the semi at the end. Web root path. That's a good question. Standby reloading. Right? If we do env.web root path, the absolute path to the directory that contains the web servable application. So this is right. This will give me, in my case, /dev/core-wiki here, right? Debtember. Ooh. Debsember? Debember? We'll work on that, Mazel. We'll work on that, but I think that's a good idea. Let's do a month of Linux. All right. I don't think Fanpedia Wiki have API available for developers. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I search F# for that functionality, grab the data from Fanpedia Wiki URL, What gives it for functional way as normally I use C#? Devember. Okay, that's better. It will pass if you do it with a slash and do URI kind. I think that's makes perfect sense. So let's give that a shot. We'll .NET run again. Uh-oh. Alright. Oh, now I've done it. Down in 90... Startup, line 93, 98. No! Oh, I did that semi, even after I said I shouldn't do it. So, let's get rid of that. My bad. That was all me. And come on. Yeah, semicolons. Hey. All right. Let's grab this URL. Back to Firefox. We can close out paste bin there. Close out Bingle. All right. Now, right, if I look at latest changes, there's latest changes. I do not, so we don't have a meta, right? This was something Sinclair Nader was telling us, is it doesn't automatically add the meta for us. So I think we should go back and do that. But if we go to /feed, invalid URI, the format of the URI could not be determined. Oh, so, all right, hang on. All right, so this, yeah. What do you mean the format could not be determined? I did the quote. Semicolon's the bane of JavaScript and C#. Nah, it's fine. In RSS provider. Yeah. All right. So if we have a feed of the last changes, then articles come as small fixed cards then now. Sure. You could do, we should be able to get that user interface. I don't get this. CoreWiki RSS provider retrieve syndication items. All right, so let's go to RSS provider. There it is. Yep, reload. EM2 Triple, thank you for the follow. And good morning, Steve. We haven't seen you yet today. How's things? I see Microsoft stock is doing well. You must be pleased with that. All right. So down here somewhere, here we go. This. The permanent link. Well, that's not right. We'll probably need FQDN for a permalink in RSS. May have to use HTTP context accessor, HTTP context request host, and services add HTTP context accessor. Yeah, they're not properly formatted, these things. So, oh, and we're going to need to change that. That's just wrong. Grab from user who saved record, not this guy. All right, let's fix that later. They could probably be relative as well. That's what I'm thinking. That is absolutely what I'm thinking. So we have the list of articles. So we should be able to say, right, and the URL format that we have. Okay. Right, when we look at our route, is we're going to route to /details based on whatever the slug is. The host only brings back the host name, not the HTTP or HTTPS. Hope I haven't made myself look like an awful coder. Not at all, Wintermute. Not at all. So the permalink, let's make it a relative like Joe Bun was suggesting. And let's have this go to, gosh, I think, right? Can this be as easy as RSS item dot slug? URI kind relative. Right? I mean, I think I can do the same thing here for both of these. Let's give it a shot. .NET watch run. Come on. What? Oh, I'm not in the right folder. I think that's under protocol. Yeah. Yup. You can grab the protocol there. But if I can do this with relative, let's see what happens. So, thank you so much, all 62 pair programmers we have out there joining us today. That's awesome to see you joining us. Look at that! Look at that, Sinclair Nader and Wintermute. That looks... all right. Yeah. All right, let's look at the actual code here. I mean, this might be something nice to change later. I could definitely see these being customizable in some sort of a settings. Last build date, title, homepage. All right, I guess that's fine. And then is the description, and then the pub date. I mean, right? It does what we need it to. Woohoo! Is right. All right, let's close this. Okay, that's fine. I'm gonna put a to-do here. May need to truncate for very large articles in the future. I could see that being an issue. You think I need a better shell prompt to better show which folder you are in? There's also a way to put information about your Git status within your bash prompt. But I think we've got this. I think we got this the way that we want it now, right? Yeah, all right. Fixed URL issues and merge conflicts. Fantastic. Let's make that happen. Go away. And I will just steal these commands right here. All right. Now, which branch am I on? Dev. Good. Z Shell. Pure love. What do you like about Z Shell, WTF Blub? Let me know. Did I test the links? Of course I didn't test the links. Where's the links? It doesn't show. Subscribe now. Sure. So now if I go to, where's the bookmarks toolbar? Where is it? Bookmarks. No. Show all. No. Toolbar. Core Wiki RSS feed. Homepage. Yeah. Wait a sec. Why did it go back to feed? So the location it's going to is /feed for homepage. That doesn't feel right. Let's take a look. No, that link is correct. Core Wiki is going to be much more awesome as we continue to build here. It doesn't know the URL of the individual posts yet. Oh, the link to the channel is here. Well, the link is right there. Should there also be a Core Wiki API? Oh, Genesco. I like where you're thinking. Let's create a new article. First article. This is another article. Yay. Alright, create that. So now if I go back to the feed and reload. Okay, there's that. Okay, so if I go to /feed, I still only get one page. Hey, Evandro. No channel link, so no root. I've never in my 50-year log life used an RSS feed. The host is missing. Well, it's not even the host, right? It's, I'm also not getting it to generate the second page, right? If I look at my latest changes here, I've got 2, and the feed didn't. How does it know when to update? How frequently does it update? You don't look a day past 29. The host is missing is what they're saying. Even if I put the host in there, right? If we force it into the mix, right? Let's just do that. Right? And that should be restarting over here. There it goes. I just bing it enough. I've been having to dip in and seeing merge conflicts, and I've returned to a working feed, it seems. Well done. We're almost there. I think we're almost there. Alright, so now I reload it, and I do get it, and I do get GUIDs and links. The link up top here is... that's the one for the channel. I haven't wired that up just yet. So if I go bookmarks, yeah, why don't I see that bookmarking toolbar? Bookmark toolbar. This guy. Reload it. And if I click to first article and homepage, now they're going correctly. Cool. So if I definitely need whatever the URL is. I feel terrible it's taking so long. No. This is an interesting problem here. Windows Community Toolkits have RSS feeds in the toolkit. RSS feeds are part of WCF. WCF. I feel like we do need to have that URL as part. Yeah, you're right. That's exactly where I was going, Joe Bun. I think we're going to need an entry in the config with that URL. So let's put that into app settings. And let's just create a setting here called, let's just call it URL, right? And in this case, for right now, it's, I'm going to steal the same settings that we have. It's under properties, launch settings. So that's IIS. We don't want that one. We want this one. All right. So now what I should be able to do is I should be able to say configuration URL. Sinclairnator, I posted an example in the issue 11 from my blog. All right. Link URI, new URI scheme, HTTP context or HTTP request, host. And you're receiving the HTTP context accessor so that you can grab that. That way you don't need this, but you still need it. You still need it in order to build what's in the startup. Where'd it go? I was just looking at it. There it is. Right, to put in for this chalupa right here. Chalupas. So let's do this. Configuration. URL. And then I'm going to steal yeah, I know what you're saying, but I'm going to I know it quit. I need to receive I configuration here. That's not how you spell I configuration. Still not. Hey. That's not what I typed. You turkey. Alright, there we go. Equals conf... Stop it. And I want to generate. That'll work. So now down here, I can change this to... Not that one. There we go. Yeah, that'll work, right? What do you think? What do we got? Chalupas. Yes! Love chalupas. I can't eat them anymore because celiac. Yeah, I know. I know it crashed because it's restarting here. Small note, you can remove the URI kind absolute because it's by default set to absolute. You're right. You are correct, sir. There we go. Fighting autocomplete always wins. That should work now. Hate it. Alright. What is it upset about now? Relative URI cannot be created because the URI stringer blah 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 blah. Yeah, you want to fight me on that? Come on. Is that back in startup? Do I have it? I still have it marked as relative. Feels bad, man. There we go. Couldn't you just add launch settings JSON to your startup CS config files? I could. I could just read it. However, and that's a very good question, Standby Reloading. And this was kind of what we were hitting on a little bit earlier, and it's a very, very good question. The application URL here that's being referenced is what is the URL that that Kestrel is listening on. Now, for the most part, it's going to be localhost. But what we're seeing folks do, and when you do publish, we see folks do this. Because when they publish to production area, that URL may change. You may lock down into a specific URL, right? And that's where I want this to land. But until it gets there, I could just leave it like that, and then you don't know that name if I were to read and grab that. So it's not dependable. So that's an extremely good question, Standby Reloading. And the way that SinclairNator was suggesting to do it, inside the RSS provider, go grab the HTTP context and grab the host name off of that. That's great when you're in a request. When you're in startup, you don't have a request yet. So we're kind of fighting. We're fighting a race condition at that point. Let's let that restart. Hey, useless game player. Good to see you this morning. Should you add areas with different features? Janescu, I think that's a good idea when we start thinking about admin capabilities. And one of the admin capabilities we should have is configuring the URL for this. So I could definitely see us creating an admin area and putting things over there that are administrative, user management, those types of things. It's a very good idea, and I encourage you to open a couple issues around what features you would like to see us build in areas. So now if I refresh this, there we go, and now these are actually links, right? They weren't links before. So now I can click through, and it actually... come on. It should have gone right to it. I've got an extra slash in there somewhere. Is that coming out of my app settings? It is. Nuts. Now, that should reload it for me, because app settings is supposed to be reloaded. No. Let's do this. I'm just gonna don't save that change. I'm just gonna put a space somewhere over here so I can force Kestrel to restart. Why does the URI need to be created in startup? It's just the Snickler library implementation, meaning it could be reworked to happen later. I agree. That's a very good comment there, Smab. No, I wouldn't use the Razor UI for... I mean, you could use it for building the RSS, but I like this approach that SinclairNator has, because this is all middleware. There's no Razor being triggered at all. There's no MVC being triggered. So this is running very, very quickly. So I like it. This is a nice innovative approach that SinclairNator has put together here. Yeah, and it does what it needs to do here. So if I tell this reload, be nice if I could tell it how frequently to reload. Can you set URL in app settings JSON to be the live URL and override it in app settings development JSON to point to localhost? Great point, Sol Rev Dev. That absolutely works. That would make a lot of sense to have in the development settings. Here's where it should go. I'd be tempted to have app settings.production.json that has the live location where it's going to end up. Duel, I want to thank you sincerely. Removing professors, saving, and then adding professors and saving does the charm. Hey! Good work, Duel. Congratulations. Glad to hear it. All right. So let me go back over here. Let's let's amend this commit. All right, status. And it's got WikiDB in there. Flying Pizza. Hey, Flying Pizza. Haven't seen you here before. Welcome. Thanks for joining us here in the chat room. Another option for handling configuration settings rather than using configuration directly. You can look into using iOptions interface and making a strong type settings section and then inject into iOptions and other classes. Absolutely. Very good point there, Flying Pizza. We use that capability in the other project we work on here on stream, our Stream Tools project. And once I commit these changes, we're going to go over there, and I want to add a new feature to our chat bot that's actually listening in the chat room right now. So we'll take a look at that. But very astute to point that out. Thank you. Isn't app settings JSON already prod? It's the common set of settings that are applied to everything. It will always look for a configuration with that name, right? And I can show you here, if we go to, this is one of my favorite pages to go to in the ASP.NET source code, because there's a lot of stuff that's hidden inside the repository. Hang on, I need to find the meta package. This is the question. You keep humming the sad tuba melody. Here you go. I'll do this one for you then. How's that? Inside Program CS, right, around the question of app settings JSON, there's a lot of stuff that's hidden under this create default builder, and I want to make sure you know where exactly this thing lives, so that if you have questions about, like we have here, well, what's it actually doing with that app settings JSON? Here's where it is. So this is meta packages source ASP.NET Core web host, right? This corresponds to this web host create default builder right here. And if we scroll down here, this is the create default builder method that you call. And this is the source code. This is what it does. So the configuration bit to answer that question about, well, is that really the production one? Here's where it's adding the JSON file. And you can see it'll add app settings, whatever the environment name is, JSON. So who was asking? So standby reloading. You're kind of right. If app settings is, you could put just about everything you're going to use in production in app settings JSON. But don't be afraid to override it with a specific app settings.production.json, and you can put those things that are only in production over there. And it won't be inherited or accidentally picked up by any other environment instead. Very good question, and I wanted to make sure that you guys saw this is the source code for that, because there's a lot of configuration stuff in here that we used to have to do by hand that's now hidden. And all of this goo here, right? I mean, look at this. This used to be what was in, right, our program CS when we started, right, from line 150 all the way down. I mean, look at all this stuff, all the way down to 120 to 222. I mean, that's 72 lines of code that you had to write every time you built your application, a new application, and you had to maintain. And this is all the typical goo that, and I keep calling it goo, but stuff that you don't really need to manage and maintain. Unless you want to customize it, right? If you want to remove some of these features, if you don't want user secrets, if you don't want it reading environment variables, or you want to change how logging is configured, right? You can add more logging after the fact, sure, but if you want to change this, you can copy this code, load it up wherever inside of your project, and maintain it yourself if you'd like. So the ASP.NET team, they're paying for this, not you. Oh, come on. Now you can add Kestrel options with Lambda functions to set your SignalR hub. I haven't seen that. I'd have to take a look at that. So there's this. Let's commit this RSS changes here, and I want to thank Sinclairinator and Wintermute for putting this together. Git ignore should be ignoring that WikiDB, but it still picks it up, and that feels bad. Let's add everything, and then let's remove. All right. Good. Let's see. Fixed URL references. Fantastic. And let's push. All right, so now we've got our RSS feed. Yep, great work to Wintermute and Sinclairinator. SignalR DI stuff, what you could need in your project. Oh, all right. All right, so I'm going to. Thanks for the good work. I've merged this into the project. All right. And I should be able to. Where was it? It was referenced up here. Where? There it is. Make sure that we comment. Great work. Thanks. All right. And since I haven't finished it yet, I'm going to refresh our GitHub scoreboard up top there, so we can make sure that Wintermute gets on the list. Can you put this on your resume? Even better, we'll put this on your green tile wall, right? All right, so click through to here, right? There you go, look at that. You get this thing. Oh, EM Triple, oh my gosh, thank you so much for that subscription. I really appreciate that. I hope you enjoy the C# bot emote there in the chat room. It doesn't tell me here what level you subscribed at, but there are now. I have lit up the other 2 levels, and I need to figure out some other things to give you besides emotes. But if you do the 2nd level emote, you'll get the hat. The 2nd level subscription, you get the hat emote, and if you go all the way. And I need to figure out what to give you if you do that full subscription, because you deserve something a little bit more than just an emote. I'll give you the C# Superman logo that you can emote with. I don't have Twitch open somewhere here I could show you. All right, so you get the little green guy there, and I'm working on stickers. I need to work on a logo. My friend Richard Campbell was going to. He came to me at Build and he said, "All right, do you have a logo that I can print up and we can hang on the studios here?" Shark Deed, thank you for the follow. I look forward to seeing you in the chat room. And I had to say to Richard, "Gosh, I don't have one." There you go. Look at that, Wintermute on the scoreboard up there with 2 commits this week. Top on the month so far, tied for top with Evandro. Very cool. All right, and you're just at the end of the all-time list here of commits. So there you go. Thanks so much, Wintermute, John. All right. How are we doing here? I see 6 comments here. Is this... All right, yeah, we need to rebase this one. But I think it may end up going away anyway. All right, let's talk about adding that AI capability over to... you have an idea for the ticker? All right, let's go over to the Stream Tools repository. We can talk about that, and I want to show you what I was thinking about for some features we can add to the bot. Things that came up last time that I think a couple of you saw. And stand by reloading with the little bot salute there. Thank you. I think there's a couple things here. I would love to do these two things whenever, and a number of you post links into the chat room, and I've relaxed the Nightbot and how it interacts with the chat room. I would love to actually capture some of those URLs and be able to give you a place, almost like a show notes, that has, here's the links that were tweeted and mentioned during the show. So I think that's something that would be cool to automate with the bot. You have an idea for a sticker with a ticker. All right, what do you have? What's your idea for the ticker? What can we put on recent followers, subscribers, hosts? Mercs. Okay, Mercs. Thank you for the follow. I think Sharkdeed is leading in the cool avatar of the day. There's something that we can put on the ticker. Who has the cool new follower avatar of the day? But the recent followers subs, like we have in the event list down there underneath the chat room, that wouldn't be too bad to put in there. I could see that going in there, sure. In the ticker up at the top. Is that Skeet bot a bot with useless John Skeet facts or quote also? Oh no, they are very useless John Skeet facts. Actually, let's go over to the source code here. I think if we want to talk about the scroller, we could look at this. But I think we can look at these two also. Painful's bald like Alex? Okay. Thank you for the follow. More like bald like Steve Ballmer over there. He's a little follically challenged. Wintermute asks, how can I troubleshoot my IIS Express config because I always get a 404 whenever I try to launch a project? Oh no, those John Skeet facts are quite useless. Gosh, how do you troubleshoot IIS Express config? There's a problem there's a problem you're going to run into because of the IIS Express config, right? And I'm not going to be able to show you or walk through this too much because I'm on a Mac here, which doesn't have IIS Express. The problem you're going to run into is that the IIS Express configuration is it's a separate config file. It's an XML file that's sitting there in, I think it's in like your .vs folder, right off the root of your solution or your project. And you're going to need to go in there and take a look at exactly how it's set up. I would almost be tempted to start a new project and let it regenerate those configuration files for you for IIS and for your project itself, right? I'm assuming, Wintermute, you're referring to .NET Core, ASP.NET Core. You should be able to grab those settings out of a new project and copy them over and just reuse them. Because unless you're doing something really strange, you should be able to just grab some original settings and copy them over. That's where I would start, and I would do a little bit of comparison. Yeah. All right. I saw some gaming stream that had multiple scrollers, like recent followers and recent subs. I've seen that as well. And you're welcome, Wintermute. Yeah, there is a way to open the config. I think it opens the user interface, the IIS configuration user interface. Standby reloading, I think, has a very good point there. This is a very short scroller that we have up there, right? I mean, it doesn't have a huge list of things right now. I wouldn't be opposed to putting, the last 5 subscribers, the last 5 followers on that scroller as well. and make it a little bit more generic than just GitHub. I think you're onto something there, Janescu. And we can certainly grab that information because it is coming into the application. But we do need a little bit more configuration capabilities. And I also want to improve this. I need to... I want to add... SignalR updating. I like the ticker just being GitHub to make it a little special for those who have contributed their time. I agree. And I think if we were to put names and subscribers up there, I could see putting subscribers up there. Or folks that cheer. But I've already got the event list down the bottom there. So for me... I'm okay with leaving it as just GitHub. If there's a request to do that from somebody who's actually using this in the future, I could see updating that. But let's make a top command to show GitHub stats. That's a good idea too. I like that one. I really like that one. Report top contributors to GitHub projects in the chat room. I like it. And I think that's something that you should... yeah, let's do that. Alright. I like it. Let's... Where should we go first? Let's go... And I actually... Ooh, this is actually... This kind of feeds on to... I need to be able to ban and time out folks in Twitch. And I don't think I'm doing that very well yet. Let's change projects here. Let's go over to Stream Tools. There we go. Very cool idea. I like it. All right. So this is the Stream Tools repository. And I'm down here working on the scoreboard features. And I don't want to bounce around too much. I feel like I should finish this initial feature and then go back. Hey there, J1859. Why is it pausing? That doesn't feel good. How are we going to do this? How are we going to do this? Are you kidding? That felt really bad. Come on, play the sound effect.
It can be done exactly how I want it. The only question is, are you the man to do it?
Of course I'm the man to do it, Walter White. I'm gonna do it. Make a more intelligent ban filter. Yes. At least do a DNS query on a supposed link before banning, kicking to determine if it's actually a link. Amen. I completely agree. Let's merge what I have for this... where'd it go? Let's merge what I have for the scoreboard at this point. And then delete this branch. No, let's merge what we have, and let's kind of pin this branch so that we can continue working over here. Right? And it's up to date. You need a Liam Neeson. I have a special set of skills. Ooh! That's a great one. Oh, that's an awesome one. Yes! Special set of skills.
I don't know who you are.
I can't hear the Mac coming through.
I don't know what you want.
Hear it.
If you are looking for ransom, I can tell you I don't have money. But what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career.
Nope,
skills
I can't hear it.
That make me a nightmare
Yep,
for
Bing
people
search.
like you.
Why not? Why not?
If you let my daughter
And
go
the good
now,
luck.
that'll be the end
Yeah,
of
I
it.
can't hear it. Oh no.
I will not look for you. I will not pursue you.
But I love this speech.
But if
you
you
can hear it,
don't,
oh good. Yeah, it's
I
not
will
coming
look
through
for
my
you.
monitor headphones.
I will find you. And I will kill you.
Come on. Nope, it's not coming through for me.
Good luck.
And why did it pause? What am I doing? Too much over the network? No, so it's muted on the speakers, but it's still coming over. Not Family Guy. We don't want to see that. But it's still coming over. Coming over the HDMI into my production machine here. I joined the stream late. What are you working on, Jeff? Is it the wiki or something else? Well, wow, that's a really ugly URL. We need to fix that. I really need to fix that. I should make that like a DNS. So what we're working on, we did a little bit of work on the wiki. We added an RSS feed, and that was really cool using a plugin that Sinclair Nader wrote, and that our friend Wintermute adapted and committed in a pull request for us. So you'll be able to see that if you go back and either rewatch the video here on Twitch, or a little bit later it'll be out there on YouTube. Let me merge in what I have right now for... Yeah, I need a new pull request. Right, so I'm going to merge in scoreboard. There we go. All right. Yep, do it. That's everything I wanted. Feature scoreboard. Good, do it. And I'm going to rebase and merge. Will be rebased and added to the base branch. Good. Do it. Make it happen. Fantastic. I don't want to delete it. I don't want to comment on it. It's just there now. There we go. So if we look at our commits... No, wait. I rebased and they're still all there. Should have been only one. Stop what you're doing and go watch it. Taken's a good movie. Alright, I'm going to go back to my code over here. I'm going to change to my dev branch. Yep. Let's pull so that I get all those features. Alright, good. And first thing that I wanted to do... and Jobun kind of touched on this. Gotta go, daughter's 12-year birthday. Oh! I didn't squash as well, yeah. Rebase and squash is what I should have done. Catch you later, Jobun. So I'm going to take your idea here, and I'm going to go after capturing the hyperlinks and summarizing and maybe using some of that information to decide whether or not to ban or time out folks. I want to go after this feature right here. And then this just goes along with it to report the title of an. These two go together. So I'm going to start with this. All right. Let's see here. So I'm going to go up to my chatbot. And here's where my commands are. And one of the commands that we have in there is that image descriptor command that we wrote with Scott Kate. Right? And this is intercepting and looking at things that are images, right? This is checking to see if it's what type of content it is. This one. Right, where it's deciding. Right, so here comes a chat message. If it ends with a question mark, do this. If it looks like an image, go call the image. There you go, look at that. So I am going to also add now, not just if it looks like an image, it ends with ping, JPEG, JPEG, GIF. We could probably open that up a little bit more too. I want to also have it checked to see if it's an HTTP link and it doesn't have one of these. Let's go grab that as well. And we should probably, yeah, all right. So first things first, I always work in a feature branch. So let's create a feature branch. HTTP, let's call it HTTP capture. Because I'll do the logging and I'll also do the reporting of what the title is of that page with this same feature here. All right, so I've got a feature branch. This is triggering me. Oh, much better. Thank you. All right. Now, something that I wanted to fix here that's kind of annoying me is I have these conditions that I'm checking in here to determine, well, do I go and execute that thing, right? And I even go off and I've written this method here that only has to do with the Azure Q&A service. John Skeet doesn't need a debugger, he just stares down the bug until the code confesses. We need some more John Skeet quotes. Because they're all sitting right here, and there's only 6 of them. There's lots more on Stack Overflow we can steal and put in here. And hint, hint, nudge, nudge, if somebody were to create a pull request with some more quotes, it will put you on the scoreboard as well. Developed over a long career. Yes, he does. It nests properly in tools. Amen. All right. So my concern, my thought here is to kind of clean this up a little bit, is I have these conditions that I check to determine, do I execute this command? Do I execute that command? What I'm going to do here, let's make the command object a little bit richer. And let's put a property in here called can execute. Yeah. And let's pass in the same string username, string full command text. Here. I'm expecting to see my comments. All right. So I'll check to see, can these things be executed? Now look at where I've got all the red line errors here. All over the place. Fix it, Fritz. Yeah. Let's fix it. No, I don't want to replace. Why is it? No. When in doubt, reload. There you go. Go ahead, explore those commands. They're out there. They're fun to play with. Right, it should tell me that I'm missing my new can execute here. And the fact that it's not, right, go away. There we go. Implement the interface. Where did it go? Can execute. All right, so this is Azure Q&A command. Now, what I'm thinking is I'm going to do this right here. And that commands too fast is this internal. Where'd it go? Right here. I think commands too fast we still want to use. Right, because that's being called basically before everything here. So let's do this. I need to receive logger. To have the version of ReSharper for Visual Studio Code, the holy grail of extensions. I don't know if I'd call it the holy grail. It's pretty nice, but it can be a little difficult. I do have logger here. Oh, good. It's a little bit of a memory hog in Visual Studio. It's just a little bit. Oops, wrong tab. That's better. So the check that I want to do is, and I think I also want a priority order here too. Let's add priority or order to this. Just make it a get. Yeah. I love ReSharper. It often makes things slow, though. Yes. Visual Studio 15.7 has a lot more of the ReSharper features I was missing. Yes, it does. My good friend Casey Uhlenhuth is doing a lot of work on that to really level up the refactoring capabilities that are available to you. So for Azure Q&A command, I'm going to make the order 1. Make this the first one that you check. And now can execute, I'm going to be able to grab I'm going to grab this. Nope. Over here. And I should be able to wrong button. That one. All right. Let's fix the tab on these. Now I should be able to say logger, and let's change this to full command, not fill. Full command text ends with good. Handling question. Yes. Standby reloading. Thank you for the subscription. 4 months in a row. That's great. Thank you so much. Always watch Casey's videos on Channel 9. Yeah. Casey is an amazing technologist. She's... you know what? I don't care about the service name here. Adrian's HP. Welcome. Thank you for the follow. Casey really knows her stuff. She's... yeah, she's somebody that I have a lot of respect for. She's really... she went from Gosh, she was on the Roslyn team, and she was helping build Roslyn and then Roslyn Analyzers. And now she's building productivity tools for Visual Studio. Just tremendous developer. Alright, so when we actually tell it to run, we need to pass in the chat service and tell it to execute. Well, I think we want to pass in the chat service anyway and then execute. So I think we're going to end up getting rid of this. Let's get rid of it now, which will break it. Now that I have a license for Visual Studio Enterprise on my work computer, I get to use all of the features Casey demos. Yes. Yes. Very cool stuff. So I think... Yeah, alright. So here's what I'd like to kind of replace this with. Let's go... For each... Oh, I'm not getting the tab completion on that. Nuts. Alright. For each var, CMD in... Right now, my commands list is... Where's my list of commands? So we removed the image descriptor from it as well. Rats. And we saved off a copy of the Q&A command. So what I've... all right, let me back up here. I have inside my code here, I go and I do this register commands thing that goes and identifies all the classes in this that uses reflection to go find all the commands that are in the project. And I don't like having this separate one just hanging out here for the Q&A command, because as you see, I'm starting to add new features, and I don't want to just have references to little commands laying around. I'd rather have them all in a registry and pull that together in one place. Now the help command, let's look at the help command, because that's actually using the command registry. And I don't want it to return commands that aren't a bang command, right? Because they all have names. I could add a property. Oh, you know what? Q&A command, right? The Azure Q&A command here. I could remove the name for this, because I don't really use that name anywhere. And I could do the same thing with the image descriptor. Get rid of the name, because I don't really use those names. They're kind of things that interpret. Have to get ready for a cookout. Oh, have fun, enjoy that. It's Memorial Day weekend here in the States, so lots of barbecues, grilling. I'm going to be joining my family later today. Oh, we got a PR for some more John Skeet facts. Alright, we'll take a look at that in just a minute. So I think I could do the help command. Hang on. Let me look at the register commands here. Add the command name and then the command. So if I have a double quotes for the name, it doesn't have a... Yeah. Today's the only warm day in the Northeast this weekend. Gonna go to a cook-in tomorrow. Haha! There you go. I feel like if we don't have... Who is this Casey? Seems like I need to watch her videos. Oh. this is Casey Uhlenhuth. Here. You can find her on Twitter here. But she's done a number of things on Channel 9. There she is. So here she is being interviewed by our friend Golnaz. Yeah, they moved all the event stuff over to YouTube. There she is on what's it called? On Twitter. She was speaking at Techorama in Belgium this week. Here she is. This is the session that she gave at Build. You can go over to YouTube and watch this.
So we're going to take Escape to go back just to our single. I'm going to go to the end and grab these last two Escape characters. And again, I could go through all
demo that they gave as part of this. So Get in the Zone Visual Studio 2017 Productivity Enhancements. There you go. Sorry about that. Yep. Need to differentiate within your code between privately executed and public commands. Yes. Sorry about that. Yeah, the Mac is turned all the way up here. Let's back that off. Actually, I should just mute it. So there you go. And Casey's responsible for the productivity features that you see, the code productivity features that you see inside of Visual Studio. I've talked to her about having her on stream, having her helping us out one day. It's something that I think we're absolutely going to do in the future. And actually, so I mentioned Lita Gemini in the list there. I have this demo, this tutorial here called, and this is a tutorial for doing game design with Unity for building a pinball machine. This is called Pinball Lizard. Look at that, and it's even got a green spot in the middle, so my green screen loves it. But you can see Pinball Lizard. I think when I have Amanda, Lita Gemini, on a little bit early in June, I think we're going to go through and we'll build a pinball game here using Unity with .NET. That'll be great. President Not Sure says the Supercharger debugging video in Visual Studio from Build is really great too. That's with Andy. I forget his last name. Supercharge come on, Jeff. Debugging Build 2018. There it is. This is Andy Sterland, I believe his name is. But this is a really good... There, Andy Sterland. He's the lead program manager on the diagnostic tools. I did the content review with Andy before this, and let me tell you, Andy is a great presenter. Tremendous walkthrough of all the various features of the debugger in Visual Studio 2017. I highly recommend his video. TMM88, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you joining us. Steve, you interrupted me there. Don't make me mute you, Steve. But Andy's going to show you some of the tremendous features that are in that debugger. I encourage you to check it out. Everybody can use this video. It works for anybody who's doing .NET development. Thank you. All right. Great to see you in the chat room there, TMM. Hey ho, guys. How are you doing? So working on a Unity demo, right? We're going to set that up. We're going to walk through it and pair program on it in about maybe next week, the week after. It'll be coming up. Right now, we're actually some of the features that our bot is using here in the chat room, we're going to enhance a little bit. A pinball game in Unity sounds amazing. Could we please make it run on the Xbox One, as MS are allowing UWP applications on there? I also have a couple of other dev kits that I could use Unity with, but have no clue with Unity. sounds like we've got a topic for a little bit of June here. Let's see what we can do. I think that's a fine discussion to do. All right. I'm going to get back over to the code over here. So I have these commands that are loading up, and I'm naming them by their command name and putting them into the registry. If they don't have a name, if they do have a name, let's prefix it with a, hang on. Let's think this through. It's deciding to call which command if it starts with, why'd that scroll? Here. Where is it? There's a starts with. To see if it starts with the command prefix. Right there. Right, and then it goes and it finds the name of the command inside of the command registry. How do you like developing on Mac OS? It's not bad. I'm just a little. I'm used to the Windows keys for Control and Alt, and adding the Command key into the mix is confusing me a little bit. And that's what I'm running into. NEMI games. Please, getting a lot of HLSL in the stuff, like non-procedural shaders. Another cool thing would be adding in procedural audio, perhaps using algorithmic composition or deep learning. Neat. Does Discord have an API or something that you just hook into? It does, Smurfy. Smurfy Owl. There is... and I agree, President, not sure. I'm always doing Control-C instead of Command-C. There is a Discord API, and lots of folks wire up to it. And they build bots for it as well. And you can find it here in the developer docs. So there's all kinds of ways that you can hook up and interact with Discord. But I want to redo this a little bit here. Hey, no problem, Smurfy Owl. What I want to do is... let's put the exclamation point in front of this. And I'll get back to your question, Mr. Byte TV, in just a second. Here, I want to finish this thought. Your question's very important to me. Here, when I register commands, instead of just flat adding the command name, let's redirect this. Let's add a little level of indirection here. So let's say string, if it is null or empty, right, the command name, then let's add exclamation point if it's not null or empty. Let's add exclamation point and then the command name. Otherwise, type dot name, so that we do get those command names in there. All right, so Mr. Byte TV said, so in this way, I'll now have all the commands in the registry. I don't need to remove these. I don't want to remove these to handle those separately. I'm just going to comment that for now. And I'm going to change my help command to say the list of available commands. You see where it does? So this is link doing this select. I want to do a where in here now. And I'm going to say where k such that, right? That's what the fat arrow here does. I'm going to say k dot key dot starts with exclamation point. So now the help command will only give you the list of available commands that start with exclamation point. Mr. Byte TV asks, I use a Mac at work and Windows at home. It took me a long time to break the habit of trying to use one platform's shortcuts on the other platform. I'll go you one worse. I'm using the same external keyboard. I flip it between my Mac and my Surface. Is it cool if I tackle number 64? Let's take a look at what number 64 is. Are you referring to in Stream Tools? 64. I think you're referring to in Core Wiki. Start using view model classes instead of using... Sure, go for it. You're welcome to go after that. Insert annoying 56K modem music here. Ooh, 56K. All right. Good, we're connected. All right, now we can get back to it. I've been on hold music that sounds like it's been compressed for a 56. Useless Gamer says, I've always read the fat arrow as goes to. Does that also fit for such that? A better way to look at it. I've heard people say both ways. Our friend Steve Smith during our C# workshop was using the term such that. So I think that's the one that I'll use for a little bit here at least. So my help command now knows how to filter out and only bring in those commands that have an exclamation point. Let me go back over here. Da-da-da. Yes. All right. So now, when it's going and okay, that's in the register. Good. All right, so now down here, let's go to, where is it? Handling the message. Handling the message. Here it is. Whoa! It keeps scrolling back. So for each... Yeah. For each command in... I find using goes to tends to make more sense in all the context. All right. FDAS, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you joining us today. Look forward to seeing you in the chat room, asking questions, joining in, and joining the discussion here. Hurrah for Surface Precision Mouse that lets us just move from one device to another. Yeah. All right. Let's see here. So I'm going to move these little things out and say for each... That's fine. That's fine. It's using command somewhere else for it. There it is down there. That's okay. And what I'll end up doing... Okay. Kiro, is that Karotness? Thank you for the follow. Let me know how to pronounce your handle there in the chat room. I want to make sure that I'm pronouncing it correctly. So for each command in our registry, right? Right now is command registry value, right? Yeah. And then I want to do an order by. Now it's the okay. So k such that k dot order. Yeah. So, right, I'm bringing them out in the same, in a preference order that I've specified. And now I should be able to say if command dot can execute, and I need to give it the username, which is e dot username. No. Username, there we go. And then the full command text. And the full command text is e dot message. I'm going to want to say command dot chat service equals oh no e dot I thought there was a way to get the chat. Where am I grabbing the chat service? Sender as I chat service. That's it. All right. Sender as I chat service. And then command dot execute. And then I'm going to pass the same bits in again. E username. And then I'll pass in the command text as well. Now, why do I have a green deal there? Ah, we should await this. Good. And that should do. I'm currently browsing through the sources, trying to understand the bot. Let me know what questions you have. I'm trying to make this simpler. So let me know, and we'll tackle that. So the first exception that I have here is this one, something that's unique in my bot that I don't think other folks do, is they don't. I have this bit here where I'll actually answer questions by bouncing off of Azure Cognitive Services. You're now converting sender inside a loop and outside. Why not just do that outside at the beginning of the method call? Ooh, good point. Let me do that in just a second here. I'm going to move this down here. Let's delete that over there. Okay. And really, I just want to return that. Right? That's the only check that I'm doing, is if it's a question, if somebody asks a question, they type something into the chat room that ends with a question mark, let's go and figure out if we can answer it. Now, Standby Reloading thinks he caught something. Over here, I'm adding the sender. I'm converting sender inside a loop and outside. I'm going to remove it from outside, right? My goal here is I want to end this method here. I want to make this simple and be done right there. So I'm going to get rid of this bit. Image processing should be the next one. Still, though, probably don't want to do that in each loop. Well, I'm only doing it if it can execute the command. Yeah, I think I'm okay there, and I think I'm actually going to want to make sure that this is queued so that I'm only executing, so I only have the bot handling one question at a time. But doing this conditionally once it decides what it can execute, I think is okay. Let's see. Noted. I'll note your concern. do we want to do this on every run through the loop? It's a good question. Might be easier to do it outside. I think you might be onto something there. And here's where I'm deciding to do the image match, right? Because if you want to do this, if you post a link to an image in the chat room, the bot will tell you what's in the image. So, it has to end with PNG, JPEG, or GIF. It will tell you what the contents of that image is, and that's this image descriptor command over here. So if you want to see how this works, I encourage you, go find an image, that you can link to from Google Images, Bing Images, wherever. Choose your favorite website that has a image extension on the end, and you can test this out and see it respond and tell you exactly what's in your image. Doesn't Discord already have like a built-in preview thing? Explain Smurfy. Smurfy? Or is it Smurf Yow? Or is it Yow Smurf? Let me know. I'm not sure. I don't understand what you're asking. But a preview that tells you those things, yes. Twitch does not. And I want to be able to moderate based on the contents of those things, and also be able to collect them. Right, the real feature that I'm getting to here is I want to collect those URLs and save them off, so that folks who watch this on YouTube, or if you want to get a collection of the links when we're done the show here, I want to be able to point you to a nicely formatted web page that says, here's the links that we discussed, that we shared on today's show. So I think that's a pretty good feature, and I don't think you'll see that in Discord or some of those other places. So I need to add the other features into this command. So I'll just do there it is, implement interface. So this is the second command. Now, the first command that I wanted to do is the question mark. I wanted to inspect and handle those. See, now, standby reloading, that didn't end with a GIF or a PNG or one of those, so it didn't know to do something with that. I want this to be second, but I want to add some space in here, so I'm actually going to make this 10. With the sender assign, you even must make sure that each command runs only once at any given time, or else the sender assign of a new command execute overrides the old one. You're right, Tagaron. You're absolutely right. So I'm probably at some point going to need to queue those. It's a very good point. And let's take a note over here. Add queue processing to ensure only one instance of a command is executing at a time. Because I think we can have two different commands executing at the same time. Oh, my image descriptor command threw an error on line 58. So that's somewhere down in here now that I've added these extra lines. Object reference not set to an instance of an object. Rats. Now I've got a bug in my image descriptor. That feels bad. You know what? Let me go back on this, just so I can try and figure out where this. So I'm seeing in my console over here. I know it feels terribly bad. Wintermute. It says line 58. This one. API response content read as string async. I am getting an object reference not set to an instance of an object. So that tells me something happened here, that this isn't coming back. Huh. That's interesting, because this was working. Alright. I'll have to debug this later. When I can hook up the debugger and actually step through it a little bit, because now, right, I've got the hood up and I'm throwing wrenches down here working on this. So this isn't working. We're going to need to correct it. Darn it! Hey, that's my own image. But think of how boring life how boring life would be without bugs. Yes, how boring. All right. Let me go back forward. Come on, isn't there a redo? Redo. There we go. All right, so now I have this ordered. Now the check to see can this execute is over here, and it's this, right? There's no reason for my bot to know about images, so let's get rid of this. And that's down through here, and it ends on that. So I'm going to copy that and paste in here. Let's fix this a little bit, and we'll just return that. Now I need to get my using statements lined up here. That works. So the message is full command text. That works. So now it knows if it can execute. It's just doing this little test. And I'd actually, right, what other image formats should I have here? Another alternative for queuing could be to add the queue into a command base class and let the command figure out by itself. I think it's usually good to initialize HTTP client once and reuse it for each call. You're onto something here. Hold that thought. But it will save time creating a new one every time. It's good to wrap the HTTP response message in a using. You're referring to this here, right? Okay. I can actually just dispose of that right after it. Right, because I'm loading it into this result here. Right? I mean, let's just get rid of it now, immediately. No reason to wait. But thank you for the suggestion there, Rose Stern. Rose Stern. But I think, where is it? Your comment about, newing up the HTTP client here. I agree. We shouldn't be doing that here. We should pass it in, have that created and handed off to us. And there's a new way to do that. There's a new way to do that with ASP.NET Core 2.1, so that we let the dependency injection manage that. And I think we're going to need to do that at some point here. Pull from ASP.NET Core dependency injection. Let's absolutely get that fixed. Alright, so I think, let's see. So after it does that, it creates a new image descriptor command and passes in config. I like Tagaron's idea. Have the command handler with a queue that accepts an I command and process the commands one at a time with command.process or something. Yeah. Yeah. You're right. I'm wondering, though, about putting the queue inside the command or outside and let the bot manage the processing of them. Or is there a command processor class that is managing that? It's not the responsibility of the individual command. That's where I think that's a better design pattern for how I've got this structured right now. Let me finish this bit here. So the command in the command registry, I create instance, and I'm not actually passing in an object here. Let's modify this. Right now it's receiving a input parameter on the constructor for I configuration. Where's it putting that? It's not putting it anywhere. It's just grabbing my Azure configuration information. Wisdom of the Commons indeed. Oh, thank you. And these are only loaded up read only. Is it hard? I'm new. No, I don't think this is hard, Narelke. And welcome to the chat room. Thanks for joining us. And I'm trying to be descriptive and really show my thinking process around this development so that you can learn a little bit, and folks in the chat room can discuss. The command queue should call command execute if possible. That method would do the can execute and return if not, otherwise do whatever. Oh, thank you for the follow, Narelle. And Steve, thank you for welcoming our new friend. Thank you. Depends on what we want to go do inside. Gives the advantage that a command without dependencies could fire up parallel tasks, which is not possible with an outside queue. Well, why couldn't a command fire up parallel tasks from within its own execute? Are you suggesting one command could trigger other commands, and those other commands might have their own queue? I don't think that's a design issue that we have right now. I think that might be over-engineering at this point, Tagaron. I see where you're going, and if that was something that if that was a feature we needed to support, I could definitely see that. Yes, but these commands are simple at this point. I don't think we need to trigger those yet. I'm trying to figure out how to put this configuration in here. Do we need to put configuration as a property on the command interface now? Which programming languages do you know? Most of them web-oriented. Well, Narelke, is that, or Norelk? Or is it Nar-Elk? I know C#, I know VB, JavaScript, CSS, HTML, of course. SQL, T-SQL, what does Oracle call their SQL syntax? But I find my way around to a lot of different languages. I know C++ just enough to be dangerous. The Intel folks will tell you that I was very dangerous. What are the recommendations in regards to IOC containers? Oh, I know Java. PL SQL, that's it. Thank you, Wintermute. Recommendations in regards to IOC containers in larger applications running .NET Core. Is the default IOC container fast enough for production, or do you recommend other IOC containers like AutoFac? It's pretty good what's in there. If you need advanced features around naming of different things that you have in your registration for IOC, right? That's your inversion of control container, right? That's where you store mappings of types that you want to resolve. If you need some of those advanced features, you could certainly bring in autofac or another container. And there's directions for how to do that. From everything that I've seen, it's good enough. You know, most people, 80 to 90% of folks that are in, you know, the typical dependency injection architecture, it's good enough for their needs. But I'm kind of trapped in an issue here where I need to pass in configuration. I want to remove this. Thank you. I was just in doubt which one to go with. You're welcome to use it. There's nothing stopping you. If you're familiar with autofac, if you enjoy using the autofac library, choose what makes you happy. Let's take this, and I want to move this out. And let's call this create command. I want to check to see if type dot get constructor. Now I'm deep in the bowels of reflection here. I'm looking at a .NET type, and I can see the constructors. Right now I'm gonna have to say binding flags. Nuts. Right, yep, using reflection. Create instance, binding flags, public. Alright, next one is, the binder. Shoot. A null reference to use the default binder. Yes, use the default binder. Calling conventions. No. Types. Here we go. Empty array of the type system type to get a constructor that takes no parameters. Exactly. All right, so new type empty array. So that'll get the default. And parameter modifiers. And I should... Well, it does not process this. Okay. So that's going to get... Let's copy this. This is the default constructor. All right. So this returns... right, so default constructor, this is a constructor info. But if it can't find one of those, so if it does not equal null, hey. Right, so if it does find the default constructor, return it. There we go. All right. So I've short-circuited there and said, all right, if you do find it, return it using the default constructor. I do want to now say, okay, if it has a configuration parameter, inject that using the configuration that we have. Oh, you know what? No. Let's turn this around. Let's have it go find the one that has the configuration parameter. Right? So this receives I configuration. So let's go type of I configuration. So now it's going to find the constructor that has configuration. So if that does not equal null, create that instance, and then here we go. The parameters to pass in. Now, come on. This dots... Wait a sec. How dare you be static? this dot config. All right, there we go. Otherwise, type as I command. All right, so I'm doing just a little bit of reflection here to go find, right, if we do have a configuration constructor, go use that. Otherwise, just return. All right. So I'm going to skip up to here. Narelk. What is the best language to start learning in general? Python? I think you meant Python. I'm sorry for not knowing about the subject. No, gosh. Never apologize for asking a question. There is the best thing you can do in this channel, on this show, is ask questions. I'm always happy to answer your questions. Python is a nice language to learn because it's very simple. It's very easy for folks to pick up and learn a bit. I am partial, like Nimi is suggesting here, to C#. C# is free and available for folks to use on Windows, Mac, and Linux. There's many Python language There's a lot of Python language tutorials out there that you can jump on. I would encourage you to check those out if you're interested in learning more about Python. I need to spend time learning Python, to be perfectly frank. I grew up on BASIC and Visual Basic. Those are two really easy languages to learn as well. A lot of folks will tell you to learn JavaScript. JavaScript is kind of the lingua franca right now, and is available for folks to learn a bunch of different tools, native in browser, so you can learn how to use it on a tablet if you'd like. Telekinesis, followed the other day from another stream. Well, thank you for joining us, Telekinesis. I appreciate you joining in here. I see Glenn has just joined. Hey, Glenn. Python's a good way to start, so is C# because of the documentation and community. Yes, I completely agree. F# is quite simple to learn and can introduce you to some really nice and interesting concepts. I need to spend some time with F#. Outed, yes, you are. I've actually got a console here. I can see everybody who joins. I can see everybody who joins the chat room. There is the continuous IDE on the iPad for C# and F#. There is. That's a good point there. The Useless Gamer points out it's an app called Continuous that works on the iPad. It works on your phone also, and it will allow you to write C# and F# code. You can also go to try.net in your browser, and you can try out some C# in the browser. But Continuous has a little bit of a price tag with it if that's a concern for you. All right, so now I'm handling all of these commands. I think we're okay here. And that Q&A command also takes a logger. Let's see here. I think we got rid of that constructor, didn't we? Yeah, we did. Yeah, I don't have that constructor in here anymore, so I think we're good on that. Okay. Because we inject the logger in the commands as they're started. Python is slow and JavaScript is a mess. I'm not going to debate you on the quality of those programming languages, Superbrain, but I will say, for somebody who's trying to learn the structures, who's trying to get involved, and start with programming, they're not bad. They're a good place to learn some of the concepts, and a lot of those concepts you can reapply because you'll see for loops, if blocks, in other languages. You'll get object-oriented concepts, and you'll be familiar with them. And when you're starting out, performance, the ecosystem and community, like you see with JavaScript, aren't as much of a concern. You know, when you do need to build something that you're going to maintain in the future, I would agree with you about JavaScript being a little bit of a mess for maintenance. TypeScript's good for JavaScript? Yes. C# will force you to write better code versus JavaScript. No. I've seen some pretty ugly C# as well. Trust me, I've seen some ugly C#. I've seen David Fowler's code. No, kidding. Totally kidding. Glenn's going to go off on that one. David Fowler writes some amazing code. He's one of the lead developers on ASP.NET Core. Yeah, I'm going to get it. Hey, I've seen Barry Doran's code. That's just asking for problems saying that. All right. Yeah, and seriously, is it Nar Elk? Let me know. Nar Elk or Norel K? Let me know. The Data Scientist Python is good as R. Yep. The book Code Complete by Steve McConnell. That is a terrific. Pragmatic Programmer. That's another terrific book. Yes, both of those. Terrific. So I've got my create command fixed here. Let me go down. So I'm trying to simplify this so that I don't have all these exceptions for here's what you need to do for each one of these things. And I'm going to need to change this little bit here for the image description bit. So my image descriptor command now, when it receives the message, right, we need to actually use the output of that image check pattern. So let's do this. This dot image URL equals, paste that. Haha! And now I can create this as a, let's create it as a field. Alright, so now I have that image URL. So when it's actually doing the check, I want to do image URL. I think that's good. All right. So now I believe we can get rid of the image processing here. The first, Nar Elk. All right. When I was a comp sci student, the first two languages I learned were C and assembly. Oh, Fonzie, you're showing your age. But comp sci does like to get folks in at the lowest level, so you really understand how some other languages work. Because let's face it, other languages like C#, not C# directly, but the .NET just-in-time, the code interpreter, right, is actually compiling down to assembly to be executed. I wish those were my starter ones as well. Those two give you, deep understanding. Absolutely. So this is where it's actually doing the work. If it can execute and we're passing in the message. The message, if it starts with one of those, the just-in-time thing. Yeah, there you go. Fortran C and PDP 11. Oh my gosh. Here, we need to do this check right here. If command's too fast, I'm going to move this up. So if we can execute, right, so we've said yes, this, so if the command's too fast, now it's not segments 0, it's going to be e.message. Yeah. No, actually, hang on. This will be the command name. Yeah, there we go. All right. Nudge those over just a smidge. Come here. Hang on. What's this one going to? Oh, if can execute. Yep. Bump that over one more. All right. Was fun and similar. Motorola 68,000. Whoa. All right. We've got some... You're like me. We got a bunch of old folks in the chat room today, huh? All right. I'm going to comment these out. All the way down to here. And then we need to do something with this bit down here. If it's an unknown command. Right, so we're going to command execute and return if we can execute. If we fall out of here, right, we should do the whisper that says unknown chat command. Maybe I should do that cast up higher, huh? Outside of the 4. Equals sender as I chat service. And then I can make this just that. Alright. So I don't need this. Remember the last command time. Grab that. And put that right here after the execute. Right? Yeah. Alright, I think that cleans this up. So now we have this way to conditionally start a command. So I need to flesh out these other ones over here. So can execute for echo is always going to be true. And the order, I'm going to put these out in the 100 range. Right? Because these are all kind of the same deal. And you can always ask this command. You can always ask for help. Of course. That's kind of the point of being here. And can execute. Right? I'm returning true because, right, and this is syntax we learned in C# 7 point, I forget if it's 1 or 7. No, this was a 6 thing. I can always do this, the fat arrow syntax on a method signature, and so that I'm returning, one method here really quickly. Hey yo man, how's it going? Oh, Chillaxathor, it's going quite well. Just doing this little bit of refactoring of the bot, and we found there's a bug in the image descriptor. We'll need to figure that out. Ping should always be available to you. The quotes command, so if you want to ask for quotes about me, you can always do ! quotes and get funny quotes output by the bot. Where's can execute? There it is. And I know there's a pull request hanging out there for some new John Skeet quotes as well. We'll merge that in just a second. There it is, order. push that out a little bit. Can execute. Always true. Execute order 66. That's a Star Wars reference, correct? Alright. There we go. The HTTP CLI I made, the one Hunter showed at build, has almost the exact same iCommand structure. Great minds think alike. Eh? Wait, is that, how close is that? That's not close to shipping, is it, Glenn? I would love to walk through that on a stream and show folks how that works. Made a PR to the core wiki. Okay. We'll take a look at that. Artifacts in the Mac. I'm going too fast. Thank you for the resub, Tagaron. I appreciate that. We'll make sure that I match that, and we'll get a donation to our friends over at Girl Develop It, so that ladies and underserved minorities can learn how to code like we are here. Is it great minds think alike, or is it fools never differ? Oh, useless. Useless game players coming after us. Future release. All right. All right, so I think this will work for now. Let's do a .NET build and see if we get anything coming out of here. Oh, you make me feel bad. I'll just go right into chatbot. See what we get here. Ban? Who are we going to ban? Useless game player? Nah, it's alright. One warning. Q&A command is never used. Fine. Let's remove that. Why did it take me into the CS Proj? Oh, because it was linking to CS Proj. Well, I want to link to here. Alright, let's go find... Yep, we can get rid of that. Oh, I can take a joke. Absolutely. Alright. So that cleans up that a little bit. Now I think it's... as we start to add more of these conditional commands. Xbox Liga hat. Nice. So now I've got this concept of a conditional command that we can go after. That will help to trigger and allow us to do this. So let's just do a quick... let's have this do a... Let's call this hyperlink command. .cs. Oh my gosh, look at that rendering artifact. Ugh. Ugh. What? Help me out here. Oh my gosh. Alright. No! What are you doing? Let's tab over here, get it to refresh the whole screen. No, it's... I've angered the video card. Oh yeah, it's really upset. Woohoo! Let's do this. I'm going to go back to full face Jeff and give that a break for just a second and see if I can get it to pop back on. Once we give the... It's an Elgato HD 60 card that I'm using. Here, let's see if I can get that to be relaxed now. There we go. That's better. Alright, so let's declare my command. I'm just going to copy in some of this. Isn't there a command to generate some of this stuff to start with? Let me know. I thought there was. Hyperlink command. This is an I command. There we go. And let's implement that interface. I don't like this by default here. When I implement, I'd prefer it would give me a get set. This will not have an... You're kidding, right? Okay. Description. I don't need a description because this is only going to run on my own. Order. This one I want to run... So where'd it go? Image descriptor is running in position 10. I want this to run second. Daz 1200, thank you for the follow. I'm gonna have this run second. So I've got 1, 5, 10, and then 100 is where everything else is. Oh, look at those artifacts coming back through. This, it's not hot. It's fine. Some of my friends in the local Philadelphia streamer community have said they've recommended I try a different capture card, one that's 3 times as expensive. I'm like, you're nuts if you think I'm going to spend that much. I'm only using the capture card here, and we have been at this for almost 3 hours now. Oh my gosh. Let's finish off this can execute here. I only want to execute this new HTTP command if it matches. Shoot. Roga Guy, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you joining us here on this Saturday morning. I'm trying to wrap up here. In fact, I'm really getting down to the end of this. Look at that. And stupid artifacts. Yes, we have entered the Matrix. Look at that. What the heck? Okay. That's enough of Mario. All right. Oh my gosh. Let me relax it for a second. Bring it back. Yeah, the glyphs are gone. I'm not quite sure why. I'm not, yeah. Have you ever implemented domain-driven design in any of your C# projects? Yes. I don't have any open source ones that you can check out, but there's absolutely... I actually want to talk about domain-driven design as part of our architecture workshop in July is when we're going to be hosting that. Let me see if I can configure video here on my Elgato device. Elgato. See, there's nothing here that I can see and change easily. How's that now? There we go. I think that's better. Let's bring in those regex capabilities. And I'm going to get rid of the extension on the end. I don't care about capturing anything. In fact, I just care that it matches HTTP. Right? There's a link in there. Great. Let's dig into this. There we go. Hey, Brendan. So does it match? I don't need to capture the image URL. I just need to know is match. Right? So gosh, let's get rid of this even. Yep. Oh, come on. There we go. So if it finds an HTTP pattern in there, we can execute this. And I'm just going to outline what I want to accomplish here, and we'll program this next time. Put that just to get it. All right. Use HTTP client to request URL and grab the HTML title from URL, output title to chat service. Yeah. Moderate as needed. Now, why isn't that lined up with the others? Yeah. All right. You're naming some folks that I'm absolutely thinking of bringing in for the workshop. Const. I think that's a good idea. That's a great idea. Let's refactor this out. No, not as a temporary variable. Let's move it up here. We'll make this a constant. Actually, I don't think we can make it a... Oh, no, it's just the pattern. Right? So if we make this private const string, there we go. And let's rename this. Now, F2. There we go. Image... Not image check. Let's call it HTTP check pattern. Looks good. So we're doing... And this regex, I feel like we could even make this a read-only. Private static read-only re check equals... nope, we need to put regex in front of that, don't we? There we go. Grab that. Oh, come on. There we go. And now this becomes re check is match. Fantastic. All right, so we can write the execute bits next time. A const inside the canExecute method. All right. Is there much of a benefit of using Visual Studio Code over Visual Studio for Mac? Visual Studio Code has tons of plugins out there that support all kinds of other programming languages and features that Visual Studio for Mac doesn't have. And Visual Studio Code is not an IDE. It's much more of a text editor. So you're going to find text editor features, not IDE features in here, right? So I like using Visual Studio Code just because it's, you know, very lightweight for me to use over here. Could you use Azure to moderate the HTML title? Maybe. Can we use Azure to moderate the title? Let's inspect that next time. But I'm going to clean up here because I hit stop. There it goes. Come on, Stream Deck. It's taking its good old time responding here. Wow. Is the Mac still just rebranded Mono Develop? It's not rebranded. It's enhanced. It's got a bunch of other things in there. And wow, is it lagging behind me typing. I think my Stream Deck crashed. Is it possible for Stream Deck to crash? I think it did. I crashed my Stream Deck. There we go. Oh yeah, it's not doing well at all over here. Holy crow. All right, I'm going to clean up this over here while Stream Deck is doing its thing. Let me add the hyperlink command. Let me see. I should have... I updated all of our commands. Yeah, there we go. So made commands conditional and ordered. Cool. And let's push. There we go. Now is it going to play music for me? Nope. I don't know what's happening to my PC here, but it looks like it's about to crash and burn in a bad way. Wow. I have no idea what my PC is doing. All right, let's push this. Xamarin Studio got evolved. Yes, okay, so MonoDevelop evolved into Xamarin Studio, and Xamarin Studio got evolved into Visual Studio for Mac. So it's kind of a growth thing. And it is more than branding changes, yes. So let's push. Let's track the upstream going into origin. And this, what did I call this? What's the name of this branch? Feature HTTP capture. All right. Origin feature HTTP capture -u. Right. Track that for me. Very good. All right. There's a tiny PR into Core Wiki. Let's go take a look at that. There's a pull request out here. Look at that. Set details page title to article topic. Some minor cleanup. Okay. I will. That wasn't the button I expected to happen. Let's hurry up and finish here. Yeah. The Stream Deck does not want to respond. That feels terrible. So what did you put in here? Title is details. If there's a topic, put it in there. Change that to a const from a var. And it looks like you just changed some spacing. That's fine. Thanks for the contribution. All right. And there was another one you said? Not there. Okay. Stream tools? I thought I heard a few new John Skeet facts. Yeah, what do we have? I don't have a lurk command. What do we add? John Skeet doesn't need a debug. John Skeet's addition operator doesn't commute. It teleports to where it needs to be. Anonymous methods and anonymous types are really all called John Skeet. They just don't like to boast. John Skeet code doesn't follow a coding convention. It is the coding convention. Nice. When you search for guru on Google, it says, "Did you mean John Skeet?" John Skeet can recite pi backwards. Nice. When John pushes a value onto a stack, it stays pushed. When invoking one of John's callbacks, the runtime adds "please." I like it. Let's get those into the mix. Has no conflicts when the base with the base branch by rebasing. All right, do it. Thanks for the contribution. These are pretty funny. All right. Very cool. And I should, just before we go, I'm going to refresh the scoreboard. I need to get that wired up with SignalR so it automatically does it when we get new commits. Which means I'm going to need some way to trigger it. There it goes. Loaded the data, and it should have new contributors on Stream Tools this week. Why didn't it see that? One more refresh. With feeling this time. So this time it should pull it out of cache, and nope, it's not showing contributors this week for Stream Tools. I really don't like that formatting, how it takes like a few seconds to start formatting properly. Ugh. Ugh. And it's so stuttery. I have a feeling something's going on my machine. It's downloading an update or something in the background and just crushing things here. But Core Wiki, there we go. There's standby reloading on Core Wiki. But it didn't show Ridecar here with the merge on Stream Tools. Huh. I'll have to do a check on that. EM Triple, thank you for the cheer. There's the sound. Oh my gosh. I appreciate those bits, and I'll match those bits. We'll get that turned into a donation for our friends at Girl Develop It as well. All right. Yeah. Thoughts on my coding style? It's fine. I don't have a problem with your coding style at all. It looks really good. I think we're in good shape there. Yeah, wow, the Stream Deck is running really, really slow. Something's got to be just devouring processor here. Like, really slow. I'm just trying to end the stream here, you know? Yeah, your coding style is just fine. Well, thanks so much, everybody, for joining us. As always, and we went an hour over here, but I think we accomplished a lot of neat stuff. We've got some new features started. I've got a little bit of debugging that we need to do that I need to follow up on. I did read clean code. I read it a long time ago. But the code's out there on GitHub. I encourage you to check it out. We've got that great new RSS feed capability in our project now, in our core wiki now. We'll do a little bit more feature development on that over the next week or two here. And then in June, we're going to take a look at some Unity game development. But I encourage you to submit some pull requests. Take a look at the issues that are out here. We'll review anything that you've got that you want to contribute to the projects here on the stream. I think Wintermute, you did a fine job with the code there. Just a little bit around that URL processing that I would have liked to have seen you test a little bit more before submitting the commit. All right. So the video will be over on YouTube a little bit later today. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining us. Wow, the music's taking forever to start. Come on, music. There it is. Really? All right. We'll see you next time on Tuesday. Take care.